weather, and that they'll probably reschedule it at a. They didn't say when. They just said they'd reschedule it. Actually, I've been walking outside a little bit, getting some
What do you think?
It's panic on the storm during this.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's
Something else I was going to ask you too. I don't remember what it was.
I was watching it in my rearview mirror all the way over there.
Must have been a line.
Sometimes.
Call the meeting to order. Have any citizens or public comments? Hearing none, welcome everybody. Consideration of approval of the agenda.
So move, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
The agenda is approved as submitted. Consideration of approval of the minutes of the February 15 and February 21 meetings. So move.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
The minutes of the February 15 and February 21 meetings are approved. Consideration of approval of the consent calendar. Any questions or discussion regarding the consent calendar? So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye. Consent calendar is approved as submitted. Business of the mayor. Just one thing, I'll be gone next week, Monday and Tuesday, and most of Wednesday. There's a meeting in Washington involving the National League of Cities annual event that pivots around the Congress and so on. So I'll be going in for that, along with several people from the Iowa League of Cities. So, with that, we'll move to public hearing of fiscal year 2018 budget. Open the hearing. Do you have any affidavit of publication?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any written comments or objections?
None, Your Honor.
Any oral comments or objections? Hearing and seeing none.
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
The hearing is closed. Consideration of resolution 19-17 approving fiscal year 2018 budget.
Okay, we have got the notice. I put a copy of that in your packets of what was published in the paper for our proposed budget for fiscal year 18. The tax levy rate is scheduled to be 15.81572, which is down slightly from this current year that we're in. The increase in the valuations helped a little bit for us to be able to keep that down. We are projected for total revenues, including transfers in, of $18,095,110, and total estimated expenditures, including transfers out, of $18,265,605. I guess I don't know what else, if you have any questions on anything else.
I don't.
Nothing has really changed since the last time we talked about this at
Nope.
workshop, has it?
Everything pretty went through the way we discussed it.
Other discussion? I think we've all talked about the fact that down the road there'll be some adjustments that will not be quite as rosy when it comes to property tax taxation and the conceivable cutback in funding from the state to make up for some changes in the law. And
Correct. They're
So-
saying they're going to fill that, but we don't know for sure.
backfill
So the backfill.
is always going to be an issue, so it's always good to have a little extra
And that was,
breathing space.
and that was kind of the the thought from when they first passed it. It was going to be indefinite until they want to stop funding it. So
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of a year-to-year basis. Each year when I go down to speak to our legislators, that's one of the items that we talk about, and every year it's on the chopping block at some point in time. So we just need to plan on it.
And the way it's structured, the major project that we have on Main Street, the 3-story structure, the way things are set up at the moment, we got the benefit of some valuation there that we won't have as we move along because of the subsidy that we're basically providing there. So those are the things that sort of little background information that lets you see that we're not in as
We haven't had a windfall,
Yeah.
let's put it that way. We're
That's
just
right.
lucky right now.
Timing.
I'd so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Just like to thank the city staff, Trudy and Steve, for all the work, and everybody else, all the time goes into putting the budget together. Thank you all.
We worked hard on it, thank you.
Resolution 19-17 is approved. Public hearing on Riverside Urban Renewal Plan Amendment. Open the hearing. An affidavit of publication.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any written comments or objections?
None, Your Honor, and we did put out a consultation for the other taxing entities to come in and voice any of their objections, and that none of them showed up, so we did not have any objections or anything from them, so.
Are there any oral comments or objections?
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Hearing's closed. Consideration of resolution 20-17. Discussion.
This is in regards to the property by Central Park Dentistry. We were approached by Dr. Hansen about basically swapping some properties over there. He is going to expand his business, and so he would like to build out into that parking lot, and in return he's going to give us some of the parking lot on the other side that he owns. This is in a, is it a redevelopment? Is that what it's called, Brad? A redevelopment area?
Correct.
And so we have to go through this process of amending the map so that this property can be used the way they want to use it, because right now it's mapped out as a parking lot. So that is what this will do. This will make that change to allow that use of that property.
Discussion?
Yeah, essentially the sole purpose of this is like Trudy said, the particular lot that Dr. Hansen is interested in is designated in the land use map as parking. He would like to expand his building onto that area. So right now we're just changing the land use map from parking to office retail, which would allow him to use the property as he intends to. This is just one step along the process. We'll also have to receive a formal proposal from Dr. Hansen and provide notice of that proposal and give the opportunity, publish notice, 30-day notice, and give the opportunity for other parties to submit bids to the city. So.
And for those to gain a visual on it, we're talking about here the parking lot immediately between Central Park Dentistry and Floyd County Mutual Insurance is the one that's currently city-owned. The parking lot immediately to the west of Central Park Dentistry is the one that he owns, and those are the two we're basically swapping out. So he can build a new addition onto his building and expand on that area between his building and Mutual Insurance.
Correct.
If I remember right, John, I don't think it really impacts parking places too much, does it?
No, it does not.
Because of what he's planning to do and how it's going to be set up, so.
Correct. And we will maintain an access between the insurance office and his new
Right.
building.
And this makes a lot more sense anyway for the city to own the lot to the west of them, because we'll own everything to the south of that as well. So this actually kind of straightens that out a little bit as well.
I think we maintain that right now.
Yeah, we maintain it, but I mean, we don't own it, so
Right.
we
Yeah.
might as well straighten it out and do it right. I'd so move.
Second.
Any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Resolution 20-17 is approved. Public hearing on proposals to enter into general obligation loan agreements. Open hearing. Do you have any affidavit of publication?
Yes, Your Honor.
Written comments or objections?
None. I'm sorry. Trying to get caught up here.
Oral comments or objections?
Move to close the hearing.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye. Hearing's closed. Consideration of Resolution 21-17, authorizing and combining loan agreements, approving the future issuance of a general obligation note, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same. Discussion.
For fiscal year 18, we are once again including items that will be in a one-day borrowing. They're your typical items, ammo and guns for the PD, vest, pagers, tasers, that type of thing. There are a couple items in here that need to be treated just a little bit differently. They are a general corporate purpose item, and so that requires a little bit different treatment. You have to allow notice to the public to follow a petition. The rest of them are essential corporate purposes, so those can just be included and just flowed right through. We will be levying for a debt service levy for these, and what will happen is at the end of the fiscal year, we will go through and we will add up everything that we actually purchased. Just because we have them on here, if we don't actually purchase them, we won't borrow for them. So we will go through and we'll add up everything that we actually did, and then that is what we will have the loan for, and then it will just be a one-day borrowing. We'll go to the bank, borrow the money, pay it back the next day. And we have already levied throughout the year through the debt service levy to pay that back. So this is something we do every year. Works out pretty slick. So
But you do have several where you have to publish notice.
we did publish that notice already. There was 2 different notices that were published. The one of them has to be published. It's a longer publishing date. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a little bit different publication date than the essential corporate purpose one. So those were already published, and that's pretty much the only difference. You just have to have wording in that notice that allows the public to
And what were those items for?
that was the window and the doors up at 401 North Main, where the chamber office is, and for the building at the Park and Rec building down here on South Main, and the Wildwood Bridge tuck pointing. I believe those are the 3 items there. Let me look at
You
the
mean-
That's correct.
summary.
You mean
Yes,
South
hey.
Grand? You mean South Grand, not South Main?
Did I say South Main?
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry, South Grand. Thank you, Mike. So those are the 3 items.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Further discussion?
It's so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Resolution 21-17 is approved. Consideration of the third and final reading of ordinance 1100, changing compensation of the mayor. Discussion?
A second? Okay.
Mhm.
This is not fun. We have discussed over the last couple months anyway, changing the compensation for the mayor. Steve did kind of a survey of towns in our region and our size, and found that we were below average than what other mayors make. The mayor's salary had been $4,500 a year, and we are proposing to increase it to a whopping $4,800 a year. And these changes, according to state code, cannot take place until after the terms are done of the current mayor and council members. So these changes would not take effect until after December 31st of this year. We've already had the first 2 readings, and this approval of the 3rd reading will happen tonight, and then a motion to adopt and publish if you so choose.
So this fiscal year, this calendar year, like Jim and I and Delane are scheduled to, our terms are up. If we would get reelected, then we would have an increase January 1, and the other guys would have to wait 2 more years?
No, they would also come. Oh, yeah. Oh, listen to you. You gotta watch this guy. Gosh.
Darn.
Has anyone had any comments on this?
I have not.
I haven't had
I
any.
was just say I have not either, so.
Yeah, and I don't know if Steve has. I don't think he has. He would have said
I
something I would
think
have
hopefully people feel we're trying to be
No,
reasonable.
actually, somebody
with
did
this.
talk to me and say it still wasn't enough. We should get more.
Okay,
Wow,
that's
well,
good.
That's nice
Can
to
I
hear,
get their,
Dan.
can I get their number? So,
I would so move.
second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
And we'll have the 3rd reading.
Ordinance number 1100, an ordinance amending section 17.04 of the Charles City Code of Ordinances for the purpose of increasing the compensation of the mayor beginning January 1st, 2018.
Thank you. Next up, as part of this, is consideration of the adoption and publication of ordinance 1100.
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
The motion is approved. The ordinance, it will be considered adopted and will be published. Consideration of the 3rd and final reading of ordinance 1101, changing compensation for city council members. Discussion.
Again, this has been discussed over the last couple months or so, and Steve did a survey and found that we were kind of on the low end of our compensation for our council members. $50 kind of seemed to be kind of a good median. And after discussion, you guys thought $40 wouldn't be so bad. Right now, it's $30, and that's just for the regular and special meetings. They don't get paid for the work sessions that we have or any of our budget meetings. And there used to be a $1,000 cap per calendar year. The consensus was that I don't think any of us are here to have a meeting just to have a meeting just to get paid. So we didn't feel like the cap was necessary. So the proposition is to have the cap removed and to increase the pay from $30 to $40 for every regular and special meeting. They will continue to not get paid for a planning session. And this, again, will not take effect until after December 31st of 2017 for everybody, Jerry. So this reading is the 3rd reading, and if you approve that and adopt and publish it, then we will be set to go. And I have not heard any comments on this either. So, Dan, was there comment about the salaries of the council too, or was it just the mayor?
Somebody told me that he just thought we still weren't making enough.
That's nice
Like,
to
of
hear.
course, I can't remember his name right now.
Well, and as was discussed last time, it's an awkward position for us to be in to vote ourselves a raise. But one of the items that was looked at is, for me personally, was our film crew that records this gets the same pay as us, but is only here for the special meeting or for the meetings, and we're attending more. So it's kind of to get us up above that level. Me personally, I'm not sure what the rest of the council and their thoughts were, but that was really where I came in at. And so it's not a raise to give us a raise, because we're not here for that. So.
I don't think anybody took this job worrying about what they were going to make to be on the city council.
No.
And if I remember correctly from the discussions we've had, I think this changes our total budget by about
It was like,
$1,300 or
yeah,
$1,400
$13 or
total
$1,400, yeah.
for the council, so hopefully that's understandable to everybody.
On an $18 million budget is $1,300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to be responsible about it. So I'd so move for the 3rd reading.
Second.
Clerk could call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
The motion is approved. We'll have the third reading.
Ordinance number 1101, an ordinance amending section 19.06 of the Charles City Code of Ordinances for the purpose of increasing the compensation for all council members beginning January 1, 2018.
Thank you. And now, a discussion regarding the adoption and publication of ordinance 1101. I believe this is pretty self-explanatory, just to follow on to everything you've done so far. Any other discussion?
So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Okay, the ordinance shall be considered adopted and will be published. Consideration of Resolution 22-17 approving contract and bond for 2017 sanitary sewer lining project. Discussion.
Well, the 2017 sanitary sewer lining project was awarded to HydroClean Incorporated at the February 21st City Council meeting. Their total bid was $114,919. This year's project will involve lining approximately 5,500 lineal feet of sanitary sewer, and this is all in the northeast area of town, mainly north of 13th Avenue and east of D Street. Now, HydroClean has indicated to us that they'd like to start the project as soon as possible, and in fact, they've actually requested a pre-construction meeting, and we're going to hold that this Thursday. The completion date for the entire contract is October 27th of this year, so we'd recommend approval of the contract and bond for this project.
Further discussion.
What was the estimate on this?
$150,000.
115 or 50?
150,000.
And HydroClean has done work for us before in the past.
They have done work for us, not the lining, but they've lined the sanitary sewer manholes.
Further discussion.
So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 22-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 23-17, approving change order for 2017 sanitary sewer lining project. Discussion.
Well, now that we're under contract with HydroClean, what we'd like to do next is discuss about a change order for the project quantities. HydroClean's bid was well below our budgeted amounts, and what we'd do is like to utilize the low unit prices we receive. So I've worked with Dirk in identifying additional sewer mains, and we've identified a little over 2,000 feet, 2,037 feet of 8-inch sewer that can also be lined at this time. This is all in the same area of the northeast area of town. The sewers that we'd be additionally adding would be Cottage Court from 16th Avenue to 15th Avenue, 15th Avenue from Cottage Court west underneath North Grand and Missouri Avenue, and then Missouri Avenue from 15th up to 16th Avenue. This is a sizable increase, so it will require City Council approval. The change order increase is $41,425 for a total contract of $156,344. We'd recommend approval of Resolution 2317, approving change order 1 and authorizing the mayor to sign the change order form.
Further discussion.
I assume that these were sewers that we were eventually going to have to line anyway, so we're just taking advantage and moving it up a little bit.
Yes, that area of town, we've identified that, and it's just with the low prices that we receive, we can utilize the budget amounts and continue what next year we just have to keep adding to it then. So we're just able to get more done at this time.
Good.
You know that they will do the rest of it at the same price per foot?
Yes, yes, we've already worked that out. We actually have the change order form signed by them.
One of the benefits of this is to reduce or eliminate the amount of groundwater infiltration, which has kind of been inundating these lines, and kind of ease off on some of our infrastructure there.
Yeah, get the clean water out of the sanitary sewer, so we're only having to treat the sewage water.
I'd so move.
Second.
Further discussion?
Thanks, Thomas. I'm getting crazy here. Thank you. Don't mind me, sorry.
Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Aye. Aye.
Tar.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Sorry, guys. Losing control over here.
Yeah, no, you're in good shape. Resolution 23-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 24-17, approving preliminary plans and setting public hearing for Arts Center stair repair project. Discussion.
Well, this resolution approves the preliminary plans and specifications for the 2017 Art Center Stair Repairs Project. We've been working with RDG out of Des Moines. They've done work before on the Carnegie Building, and they're familiar with the requirements. Keeping a building listed on the Historic Register in compliance with those requirements. This project will repair the existing stairs. The stairs will actually be removed. The underlying masonry foundation will be repaired. The top layer of masonry will be removed and replaced to provide a firm foundation for the new steps, or for the replacement steps. And what we'll do is actually take the existing steps, turn them over, and put them back in, so we'll be actually reusing the same stone steps that are there now. At the base of the stone steps are concrete walk and concrete steps. Those will be removed and replaced, as well as a new center handwall will be replaced. The letting date for this project will be March 30th, and the hearing will be at the April 3rd City Council meeting. So we'd recommend approval of Resolution 24-17.
Further discussion.
You put one handrail up the middle, not one on each side?
No, it's just one handrail up the middle, and that's what it is today,
Well, that's what it
a
is.
center handrail.
This project's been talked about for a good time, so it's glad to see it moving forward, getting taken care of.
Yeah.
So,
They're very happy to see it getting taken care of, too, the board over there, so they'll be happy.
Disrepair does not quite cover the condition that they're in, so it's a good project.
what's the time frame on the project, John?
Substantial completion would be June 30th, and everything will be cleaned up like July 19th, a week before RAGBRAI.
Okay.
You ready
Oh,
for it?
That's what I was wondering, if it was
Yeah.
before the big event here, so.
But it
Perfect.
should be a substantial completion will be at the end of June, so that it can be used.
Good.
It'll just be, if anything's left over, it'd be punch list items.
Sounds good. That's so moved.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Resolution 24-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 25-17 approving next step and broadband feasibility study. Discussion.
At the last planning session, we had Curtis Dean here from Smart Source Consulting, and they had done a pre-feasibility study on the broadband telecommunication utility that it seems like people are kind of wanting us to do. The results of that study did show that the citizens would be in favor of us looking into that. They're looking for some good, reliable, reasonable service here. And so Curtis Dean is recommending that we do a full-blown feasibility study, and which would include preliminary design. It would have a business model with it, timeline, financing options, the whole 9 yards. His estimate of cost for something like that is $40,000 to $60,000, and he would draft an RFP for us to send out. So this resolution would just authorized that going out for RFPs for a full-blown feasibility study.
And if I remember correctly, he had discussed that he would actually provide that service to us as part of his original contract that he was here for.
I believe so.
So no additional cost was my interpretation for
Yeah.
that. This is for the actual.
That's what he said, he would prepare the RFP to go out to
Yep.
get all the bids for
Right.
Exactly, yes.
the rest. The committee has met numerous times on this and, and talked about it, and I was kind of hoping there'd be somebody else from the committee here this
Yeah.
evening, but
Thought Josh might come, so
there's
Weather may have something to do with it.
that's true.
it's very possible.
But there's been some, pretty good support from that committee to
Mhm.
continue moving this process forward, so.
The source of
I know
funds for
Justin
that?
is shaking his head, he's a member of the
Yeah,
committee.
he's-
Or just some good tunes on or something.
This is going to be the cable fund.
No,
There's
cable
money
fund.
there in the cable
Okay.
fund for this, so that is what
For
will be
this, yeah.
used.
Another item Curtis Dean had discussed too, there's a potential it might come in towards the lower end of that because of the work that's already been done in the pre-feasibility study. So there's that chance, but maybe not. So we'll kind of hope on that side too. But the main thing is to get this done and moving forward.
Yeah, the one thing about this, it's not going to necessarily be a bargain kind of a long-term, looking at the whole project. But what we're up against is broadband is now like replacing these highways and rivers and a number of other basic fundamental parts of the infrastructure that we have to, one way or another, get into place. Obviously, we'd like the private sector to do it all, but the problem is some of the market indicators on this, in terms of the number of people involved, as opposed to, say, if you go to New York or Chicago or someplace where you got huge numbers of people, it's a lot easier to pencil out the market result there than is the case in a town the size of Charles City. And if we don't get this in place with an appropriate cost structure so that people can afford to go forward with ventures, it becomes a real minus for us if we can't get them in place. So that's why we're looking hard at it. We've put off, in a way, some of this, hoping that maybe the private sector would completely take care of it, and they have to a certain degree. But they have not, and I think the honest truth is that we need to be doing this to make sure we have the infrastructure in place to keep us competitive in the world marketplace, so to speak.
It's always nicer to be in control of your own destiny than to rely on someone else to provide the road for you to get there. And we may not, go forward with this once we get this study done, but it at least gives us the information to make an informed decision whether that's the right path for us to go and be in control of our
Yeah.
destiny, so to speak. So.
And there's some sharing opportunities, I think, regionally as well
We've
with
talked
other
about
cities.
that.
And so
Right.
if we can hopefully garner that would help.
And what we're talking about here is the 21st century's version of electricity indoor plumbing. We're gonna find this as a utility that is necessary, whether we do it or our work forces one of the private sector companies to come in and lay the groundwork as well. But this is, as the mayor had alluded to, if this doesn't happen, it hurts our competitive nature in this rural area as well. So it'd be interesting to see what the results are.
Okay, so
I'd move for approval.
Second.
clerk, call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Resolution 25-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 26-17 approving memorandum of understanding with Iowa Soybean Association for watershed planning. Discussion.
This is a program that Adam Keel from the Iowa Soybean Association was at our last planning session and presented. There is a grant that they've received, and they are reaching out to some cities, I think 3 of them, and Charles City is one that they picked to participate in this. And kind of in a nutshell, and hopefully I present this correctly, I'm kind of on the outer fringes of this. We'll be getting an SRF loan, more than likely, for our wastewater plant upgrade. And what this project does is it takes a portion of the interest that we're going to be paying on that loan, which, you know, we're going to be paying that interest anyway. A certain portion of that would go toward a sponsored project for
Water improvement issues.
water improvement issues, like the watershed. I was trying to think of the watershed, and that word wasn't coming to me. And I know we have talked about the Washington School watershed north of town that just seems to really cause problems when we get a lot of rain. And I think that's probably going to be the focus of what this money will be used for. So this Iowa Soybean Association would help guide us through that and try to do some planning so we can figure out what we can do to help alleviate some of those issues. So it's kind of a no-brainer because we're going to be paying that interest anyway, but this way a portion of that can go towards these other projects and help us out in that way. But it has to be a certain project, and our wastewater plant would qualify for that through the SRF loan. So
It's kind of interesting. It doesn't cost us any more, but it doesn't cost us any less either. So if
Exactly.
we're already paying it, and a portion that can go towards improving another major issue that we're working anyway,
Exactly.
it really is difficult to, you know, say no to this. This
Yeah.
is an amazing opportunity through the state.
Definitely kind of a no-brainer. So the memorandum of understanding, I did include that in your packet, and I believe, Brad, you guys went over that, didn't you? I think you guys have looked at that. I think Steve sent it back to me. So
Yeah, I haven't had any in-depth discussions with Steve about it, but
Okay.
we did review it, and
Okay.
our only concern and Steve's only concern was that if there's not funds available, we want to be able to terminate the agreement without penalty. So we just included a provision at the end of the memorandum to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just as a matter of perspective, this is really sort of similar to the RCPP grant that we are involved with, that's involving those 5 mini watersheds that are north of Charles City. And so we would be working with basically, in the case of the Iowa Soybean Association, the same people. We're working, both projects will work out that way. And we do have, I think as a natural matter, the need to reach out to these adjacent landowners. It's been a long time since the Washington watershed has been engaged in an active discussion, and we're in the last 2 or 3 major flooding events, we've seen quite a bit of major activity in the northern part of the town. But we're not just, I guess it's important to add that the way this has been drawn sort of draws a circle around Charles City so that we can take a look at various possibilities.
And it will be the Soybean Association that would pick out the project in the area.
Working, it's sort of a joint
Yeah, it's a joint deal, but I mean...
collaboration. At this
Kinda
point,
drive it.
as you saw with the memorandum of agreement, it does fall to us to work our way through and discuss some of these things, for one with the county, since they're engaged and they would be directly affected by whatever happens here. So we'll try to make sure we are inclusive in the way we approach it. Any further discussion?
Right, so move.
Make your computer
Second.
easier to use. Windows will read and scan this list.
The clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Resolution 26-17 is approved. Miscellaneous correspondence,
None, Your Honor.
city attorney's report.
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. City clerk's report.
Our next meeting will be March 15th. It's a planning session at 6 o'clock. Myself and several of the RAGBRAI Executive Committee and their subcommittee members will be going down to Des Moines on Thursday. RAGBRAI is having their big meeting. All the overnight towns from last year will be there to present how their event went and to answer any questions. It's very informative, so we're going to get a convoy going down to that. So we'll be gone most of the day to Des Moines. So we'll try not to embarrass us. We'll make Charles City proud. So, and
When are we expecting to know the
Wednesday.
route?
Wednesday, we will find out the route into Charles City from Clear Lake.
Wednesday,
This Wednesday. Yep, correct. They're doing it every day this week. Thursday, we will find out the route from Charles City to Cresco. So they just, every day, they do a
It's a
different
big
section.
secret, but they'll give it to us 3 months ahead of time.
It's kind of funny, yeah. So we will find that out this week.
Politicians
So,
would keep their
and
attention
I
on
did
that.
send out an email, and most of you know, but we are losing Marcia Wright. She is leaving us after being here, gosh, I think it's been 9 years. So we wish her well. We're going to miss her, but we've already received several applications for her job. So if you know of anybody who's interested, send them our way. So
What's the timeline on that?
March 27th is the deadline for that. So,
That's
Wish
the
Marshall
deadline-
well.
yep.
That's the
she's-
deadline for applications.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Board, commission, or committee reports? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move, Your Honor.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we're adjourned.
What was your computer doing? It was helping me. I was helping you. Oh, no.
That was my other
We have about
question.
10 minutes
Did you
before it hits
have a
us.
chance to get up at my office? Well, you need to do that if you want to take a look at that.
To not play with her toys.
It'd be so crazy. Christmas